Welcome to class. In this session, we will go over 1.02 quiz. Understand irrational numbers. I'm going to wait a little so that everybody joins class. Okay, here I see a lot of returning students. Heaven, Justin, welcome. Kendra, Lani, Marissa, Mia, Tatiana, Victor, Violet, XLE, welcome, welcome. One important thing to note, I am aware that you guys are unable to get to the math course at the time. That is perfectly fine. It should get fixed by today. If you are here in class and would love to earn credits for this particular quiz, if you are here in class and would love to earn credits for this quiz, I am more than happy to give you credits if you will join the Nearpod using your full name. Right? Whenever the course is set up, I will give you credits for joining. Right? I am going over quiz 1.02. I'm going over quiz 1.02. Understand irrational numbers. I will go over each of the three varieties for each of the questions, so I can help you to my best. You will also need the link to the calculator. In 8th grade, you are allowed to use a calculator. Here is the link. I highly encourage you to bookmark the link to the calculator, right? And use it anytime you need it. And practice using it so you know how to use each and every functions of the calculator. Let's go ahead and get started with question one. I encourage you guys to be in Nearpod. There's only 9 people in Nearpod out of 33. Noah, welcome. Lonnie, yes, Lonnie, I got promoted along with you guys. So we guys are together. Please join Nearpod if you want to be earning credits for being here. I'm going to give you credits for this quiz. If you are going to join Nearpod, Cesar, welcome, welcome. Well, this is how question one for this quiz will look like. It does give you pictures of the Venn diagram for real numbers. Real numbers is what we will learn tomorrow in our math class. Real numbers can be divided into irrational numbers or rational numbers. Real numbers can be divided into irrational numbers or rational numbers. I understand that, Noah. All of these questions can go into the email. By the end of today, Noah, you guys will start to see your classes. It should be perfectly fine, right? So let's look at the question. Here it says, this visual representation shows the sets of real numbers. Which statement is true regarding the number sets? All right. Let's read each and try to understand. The first one says all integers, and I'm going to color code. Well, integers, they've used a green, so all integers are also rational numbers. Do you agree to it? Are all integers also rational numbers? What do you guys have to say about that? These are integers, right? Can you say that all integers are also rational numbers? Heraclio, I do see your hand is raised here. Isabella says yes. Isabella, you are right. Okay. Um, Heraclius, unmute yourself and go ahead, ask me the question that you have. Welcome, welcome. Go ahead, ask me the question you have. I'll make sure the question you guys are asking has to do with the quiz. Um,
I pressed the link.
I have a
It's
question
just one while.
no. Yes?
Just one while. Mm, Because the because this was really late.
Absolutely.
Also why?
So I have a little hard time understanding Heraclio. I have a little hard time understanding what you're trying to say. I still encourage you to put it in an email. I'm going to respond back if that requires a little phone call from my side. I'm more than happy to do that. Did anybody else understand what Heraclius want to say? Didn't seem to be understandable to me. Well, all integers are also rational numbers. How do we know? See that integers are part of the rationals. It lies inside the rationals. So yes, all integers are going to be rational numbers. Let's go ahead and move on. This is still going to be question one, variety two. Some of you who did not get this question might end up getting this one. Well, let's see which statement is true regarding the number sets. Right? This is still question one. Some of you might see a question one that looks like this one. A says all whole numbers are also natural numbers. Can we say that all whole numbers are also a natural numbers? True or false? Think about it. Vida says yes. Kayla says no. Rani says yes. Some people say yes, some people say no. Well, let me tell you one thing. Whole numbers also include a number that is zero, but natural numbers does not include a zero. Shamili, you're right. So I cannot say it is a true statement because of the zero. Whole numbers include zero, but zero is not a natural number. Natural number are counting number and start from one onwards. One, two, three, so on and so forth. So like that. Well, let's look at B. B says all natural numbers are also whole numbers. All natural numbers are also whole numbers. Is that going to be true? Julia says yes. Kayla says yes. Absolutely correct. This is going to be true. Why? Notice that natural numbers are part of the whole numbers, right? They lie inside. So all naturals are part of whole numbers, right? That is a true statement. Let's go ahead, look at variety three, question one, variety three. Some of you might see your question one will look like this one. And what we got to do, which statement is true? We are still trying to figure out a true statement. And here it says, all irrational numbers are also rational. Can I say that all of these irrational numbers are also rational? Look at the picture. Does the picture say that? Are they connected in any way? No, you guys are right. They're two different kind of numbers and there is no overlap, right? Okay, let's clean the picture. Let's look at the next one. It says all rational numbers are also irrational. Can we say that? Vida says no. We cannot say that. Because rational or irrational are two different worlds and there's actually no overlap. There's no overlap. Some irrational numbers are also rational numbers. Can we say some of these are also rational? Is there some room for some? Hoya says no, there's no room for some, right? Not at all. Yeah, Maya, this is a graded quiz, but the math course doesn't show. But whenever it will show, this quiz is going to be due. If you are in Nearpod right now and you are doing your work, I see Kyra, make sure slide is active. Alexis, Kai, Jassy, Johnny, Ranley, Ruben, Exceli, Ryan. If your slides are also active and you're doing all the work, oh, no problem. We are going over this quiz 1.02, right? Well, that does leave D as the answer, but let's see what D says. Rational numbers and irrational numbers have no common numbers, have no numbers in common. And that is true. There is no overlap. They have no common numbers. Absolutely, Lily. You just typed in the full name and that just confused me a little. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and move on to question two. And Lily, welcome to class. I'm so happy to have you back and everybody. I'm back. I see a lot of students who are returning students from last year. Question 2 will look like this for 1.02 quiz. Question 2 will look like this. Let's see. Mario completely covered a square floor using 98.5 square feet of hardwood without any overlap. Well, if you cover a square with 98.5 square feet of hardwood, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Evan, no problem. 98.5 square feet. What is it about the square? If we cover a square with hardwood, we are talking about area. Rania is right. Kayla, absolutely. It is in square units. We are talking about area. The area of this particular square is going to be 98.5. And the question says, I will also say square feet because we want to be really particular about units. Which measurement is closest to the side length of this floor in feet? Well, then what is going to be the side length, right? You know, a side times the side should give us the area. Do you think then side is going to be 9.5, 10, 25, or 49? Which seems to be the right answer? Remember to use your calculator. In order to find area of a square, if this was the side, I would do 9.5 squared, or I would do 9.5 times 9.5. And I'm going to see which answer gives me the closest area. Right? And I can find out the area, and I'm going to see which one will give me the closest area. Would we divide or multiply? JJ, I'm trying to get there. I am trying to get there. You're absolutely right. Would we multiply or divide? That's a good question. No problem, Amaya. You don't see the quiz yet. I'm just trying to record a tutorial over this quiz, and I invited everybody in case you also want to be part of the video, right? And anytime the quiz will open, you can take the quiz. If you are also in Nearpod and you did everything that we're doing right now, you earned the credits already. So that's why you don't see the quiz. The course hasn't copied yet, but that's okay. I'm going to answer JJ's question. I know that side. Oh, JJ, that didn't work. JJ is saying it's around 90.5, so it didn't work quite well. Let me tell you an easy strategy that will work. Well, area of a square is side times side, right? Or whatever that missing dimension is, I can say side times side is like x squared, right? Right? Side times side is like x squared, right? So I know whenever I do side times side, that is x squared, the area of this square is 98.5. Whenever I multiply side times side or I square the side, my area is 98.5. Do you guys know how to undo the square? Do you guys know how to undo a square? No, A is not right, Huria. It gives 90.5, but you don't know, Noah, how to undo a square? To undo the small 2, you have to square root. This is the inverse of squaring. We will square root. When I square root a square, now I'm going to be left with x by itself. And I'm going to do square root of 98.5. You guys, no problem, Andromeda. I'm going to teach you where the square root symbol is in your calculator, and we will do square root of 98.5. And that's going to give us a precise answer, JJ, and we don't have to multiply each of the answers to get to that answer, right? So square root, you guys see over here? Everybody can visibly see where the square root symbol is. At the very bottommost row, where it says ABC, there is a symbol for a speaker, volume, whatever you want to call it. Then there's symbol for square root. You guys see its square root symbol? That's the last row, third option, square root of 98.5. Right? Can you all see it? Is it big enough for you to see? Yes? Yes? So square root of 98.5, I get 9.9. I'm going to go back to my Nearpod and I'm going to check which answer matches the best. And well, the answer said 9.9. Now, which answer do you guys think is closest to that? Absolutely, Shamir. Very closest to that is the 10 feet. And when I showed you the question in my head, I'm already thinking about, well, I know 10 times 10 is 100, right? 10 times 10 is 100, and that is the closest area to 98.5, right? 25 times 25 is 625, 49 times 49, I don't know, it's going to be a really big number. 9.5 times 9.5 seem to be a little bit smaller than the required answer. Let's go try the next one. Now we have this tool that's called square root that we will apply, right? Here we are. Corey completely covered a square countertop using 103.5 square feet of tile. Well, this is a square countertop. Do you guys remember the concept that has to do with 103.5 square feet? What is this called? This is called area. Excellent. It is called area. So the area of the square is 103.5. Please don't use a calculator. You can tell without a calculator this time, right? And that's square feet. What do you guys think is going to be a good side length? What is going to be a good side length? I'm going to just say X. What do you guys think will be a good side length? 10, 11, 27, or 55? 10. Yes. Because if the side is 10, then area is approximately 100, right? If the side is 11, the area is approximately 121, right? 121 is a little bit extra big. 27, I don't know. You can do 27 times 27 and then 55 times 55. Too big of numbers. Another way that we were talking about finding precise answers for the side length was to square root the area. We can also do square root of 103.5, and that will give you a precise answer, right? If you want, you can do the calculations and tell me how much you get. I think it's supposed to be 10 point something. It gets a little higher. So 10 looks like the correct answer, JJ. I agree to you. How much do you guys get when you use the square root of 103.5? 10 point what? Use the 10.17, Rajani? Kayla, 10.17. I'm so proud of you. You guys have started using the calculator and you guys getting some right answers. Perfect, perfect. We go with 10.17. That's very close to 10. One more question that looks like this one. Here we are. Well, Elias completely covered a square canvas using 77.8 square inches. So let's create this square. And if you create it with some fabric, you are talking about, you cover a square with some fabric, you're talking about some area, right, Danton? You're talking about some area. Oh, Danton has an answer. Your answer looks very right to me, Danton. Okay, so Rita, which one do you think is the closest answer? Well, area of the square is 77.8, and we want to find the side length, right? Side times side is going to give you the area, so we will do the inverse of side times side. We will do square root to find side. And Christian, you think 8? I think, Rani, I agree to you. Christian, reconsider your answer. Find square root of 77.8. Find it. And that's going to give you a really close answer to the correct answer. Kayla, yes. How much is square root of 77.8? Use the calculator. I've shown you the symbol for square root in the calculator. Kai, excellent. 8.82. 8.82 says Vida. Kayla. Very good. 8.82. And if you notice 8.8, as you go to 8.8, look at this decimal. That tells me A is not the answer. I got to round up. More closer is going to be the 9. right? Whereas C and D are quite not the right answers. Let's go ahead, move on to question 3. Yes, is closer to 9. Shamir says 8.8 is closer to 9 than to 8. That's absolutely correct. And Ramita, absolutely correct. Let's look at question 3 for 1.02 quiz. And here's the first for writing. With the calculator, I know all of these questions got to go a little bit extra faster. Okay, now let me see your knowledge. Negative 25. Is it going to be a natural number? Is negative 25 a natural number? Is it a natural number? No. Is it a whole number? No. Is it an integer? Negative 25, is it? Negative 25 is an integer because integers are negative numbers. Whole numbers are not negative numbers. Natural numbers are not negative numbers. Integers are negative numbers. Is it a rational number? Rational number is any number you can express as a fraction. See, I can write it as a fraction. Is it a rational number? It is a rational number. Well, I'm going to go use these ones because they will sound much better. It's an integer and it's a rational. Remember the boundaries. If anything is rational, it cannot be irrational. There is no overlap between them, right? Something that's rational can never be irrational. Irrational numbers cannot be written as fractions because there is not a solid value for them. They are kind of ongoing in a way. You cannot express as a fraction. So it can, negative 25 is an integer. It is also a rational number. Let's try the next one. Here we are, negative 7. How will you classify negative 7? Let me see. It is an integer. It is an integer. Very good. Anything that's an integer can also be written as a fraction over 1, negative 7 over 1. And as long as you can express it as a fraction, you can also call it a rational. The word rational comes out of the word ratio. And the word ratio means a fraction, anything that can be expressed as a fraction. So negative 7 is also rational. Well, whenever we say something can be rational, then it is never irrational. So these are the two correct classifications. Let's go and look at the next one. Now this, you got to think about it. 4,563. 4,563. Oh, Danton, so nice. Noah, attend all sessions that I offer you. And by the end of the year, you'll see a difference. And I can guarantee you that even more because this year you have a calculator. It's going to make your life so much easier. I'm going to always give you all the tips and tricks that I can give you for a calculator, but also the more you'll use it, the more you'll understand it. So I can guarantee the life has now become much more easier for all of you because you guys are in 8th grade all the way till high school and college. Most of the classes, they all allow calculator. And you are going to be so much at ease. Let me see. I agree to Cesar, Joycelyn. Okay, Kayla, I have a question. Can you count and count all the way to 4,563 when you're counting some? You can, right? If this is a counting number, it is a natural number. Right, it's used for counting. If there's something too many, like money or something, you can count 4,563. Something that can be used for counting is a counting number. It's a natural number. Natural number is a counting number. Shamir says all of them except irrational. If something is going to be natural, it's part of whole, integers, and rational. If something is natural, it's already part of whole, integer, and can I feel like it's now becoming a tongue twister. Can come rational, right? Because you can see they're all inside. That is why. And rationals can never be irrational. So not irrational, but everything other than that. Let's go look at question 14. Question 14 will help us use more of the calculator. We are going to order some numbers and has to do heavily with using the calculator for ordering. You got to use the calculator and tell me the values. How much is square root of 33? You got to use the calculator. Go find it. That's it. It was a drag and drop question. Square root of 33, Rajni says, is 5.7. 5.7. Okay, I will connect it to 5.7. Right? Square root of 41. Use the calculatory. Oh, Marissa, nice. Square root of 41. You guys are good at it, right? So this quiz is supposed to be easy. Very good. Excellent. Everybody in the chat typing correct answers. So square root of 41 is going to be 6.4. The square root of 59. Very good. And you can 7.68. Well, let's go say, so this is 7.68. 7.68. 6 is already large and 8 is also going to bump it up. So I can also say it's going to be 7.7. All right, 7.68 will be bumped up to 7.7. So you see, right? Because 1.02 is supposed to be some easy grade. Should you not add one more number? What does that mean? We just bump up, right? 7.7. Don't tell. There are only three. There are only three. 7.681. You don't need it, Danton. 7.6 is enough to choose a 7.7 or 7.68. 7.68 is enough to choose a 7.7 because 68 is closer to 70. So 7.70. 7.68, 7.70. So that's 7.7. Right, Danta? Here we are. Go use your calculatory and let's do square roots. Okay, Shalmi says square root of 19 is 4.359. 4.3, let's see. I'm gonna write it down this time so we can do practice a little bit of rounding. 4.359. Well, even if I pause here, this 5 is big enough to bump it up to a 4. So this becomes 4.4. Right? And let's see the connection. You guys see the answer, right? Very good. Violet, Shamir, Danton, Kristen, Vida. 4.4 looks like the right answer for square root of 19. Square root of 23. How much do you guys get? 4.8. Square root of 23, 4.8. Okay, you guys are actually going a little bit extra faster than myself. It is going to be 4.8. Square root of 37. 37 is very close to 36. The square root of 36 is 6. So yes, absolutely, you guys are right. It looks like it is going to be 6.1. Right? 6 times 6 is 36. So 6.1 is going to be like 437. Are there any questions? Do you guys all understand that we are using this symbol in the calculator to generate our answers? Square root symbol. Yes, no questions? Let's go move on. This is question 5. And question 5 is even much more easier because you are not having, oh, this is still, let me see. Okay, this is one more version of question 4 before we move on to how do we do without a calculator, Vida? Very good, Vida, very good. You want to do without calculator? I'm gonna give you the strategy. You willing to do it? Who willing to do without calculator? Let me know. Vida is gonna do without calculator. Who else will do without calculator? Tell me this. Tell me first, so I know. Surya, you gonna do without calculator? Okay. Shamid, you'll do without calculator. For this question, you know how technology fails, and if you are left without a calculator, what you will do? Be ready with a paper and pen and do lots of work. Simply do square of 7.5, right? You know how to do square of 7.5 and find the answer, right? Do 7.5 times 7.5, find the answer. Do square of 8.2 and find the answer. That's going to be your step one. Square the numbers, all of them. And then you will know which one seems to be closest to those squares. Let's do that. Vida, tell me how much is square of 7.5? How much is square of 7.5? Let's see what you're going to tell me. Danton won't use that. He's going to use a calculator. What is square of 7.5? 7.5 squared is 56.25. Let me see, is any of the answers closer to 56.25? Or 7.5 will be square root of 56.25. Do I have 56? None, nowhere. So I know 7.5 is not going to be an answer to anything. I'm going to go to square of 8.2. Can someone tell me how much is square of 8.2? Square of 8.2 is 67.2. And apparently, so far, doesn't look close to anything, right? We will do square, and that is going to be 67.24, very precisely. So if somebody's finding square root of 67.24, your answer is going to be 82. It doesn't look any closer to any of these yet. Right? I'm going to scratch it off. But well, Andromeda says 8.5 is a working answer. Because if you take square of 8.5, you get 72.25. And that looks like closer to answer choice first one, right? 8.5 times 8.5 seems to be something closer to 72, right? So if you did square root of 72.25, you should get 8.5. Now, Vida, you learned the strategy. You're going to use without calculator. You do this. You go now next one. You're going to do 9.2 times 9.2. You generate an answer, right? Well, what is square root of 85? But this is good, Vida. You're learning. That's important. What is square root of 80? Zara, you think it's 9. Zara, you think it's 9.2? 9.2. Well, that's the next one. We can make the connection. Well, what is going to be square root of 91? What is going to be square root of 91? Square root of 91? Absolutely, Andromeda, you're correct. What is square root of 91? Square root of 91, Christian says, is, oh, two different answers. I'm going to have to verify now. 9.5. Huria, can you recheck? Danton, can you say 9.5? Brown looks very close to the color we are using, so let's use the blue. 9.5, right? So calculator will come very handy. Make sure you're using the correct tool. In case anybody missed, I will show you guys again where it is on the calculator. This is root symbol. It says in the row ABC, there's speaker, there's square root. Make sure you are using the square root symbol to find square root of 85 we looked at. You can do square root symbol is here. You can do square root of 91 and whatever you want, and you can get the answers, right? This is the square root symbol. Okay, back to the quiz, and now we are going to be heading towards question 5. That is the final question for the quiz. If you are in Nearpod, you are earning credits for the quiz already. So your course is going to be working. You don't have to worry about completing it in the course. But if you still want to complete in the course, absolutely go for it. Preston, absolutely. Now it's going to be easy. Question 5 is really going to be easy. Go find square root of 139. Find square root of 139. Let's see who's going to be the first three people who will give me the answer for square root of 139. Um, we want answer closest to the nearest tenth. So give me two decimal places. Joycelyn says 11.78. 11.7. And look here, if this last digit is 8, 11.78, will I keep the 7 or will I say the answer is going to be 11.8? 11.8, I will bump it up. So I will say approximately 11.8 because this 8 is big enough to bump the 7 up. Let's move on. Absolutely. Danton, Violet, Andromeda, Mia, Kayla, Regine, Sarah. Let's do square root of 162. How much do you guys get? Square. That is so fast. 12.72. Now think about the 2. Is this 2 big enough to bump the 7 up or do I keep the 7? I keep the 7. Absolutely correct because the 2 is small. It means we can just keep the 7. So 12.7 to the nearest tenth, to the nearest one decimal. 12.7. Let's go ahead, move on to the final one. Here's the final question. Yes, round the 2 down. Don't round down, just keep it, Vida. When it is less than 5, you keep the number. And when it's more than 5, you bump up. 146. 146. Let's do square root of 146. There's a lot of answers dropping in the chat, and you guys say it's 12.08. 12.0, and I'm going to put an 8. Does the 8 bump the 0 up or not? Will I bump the 0 up because 8 is big enough? I will bump it up. Yes, Surya, Kite, Anton, Zara, absolutely correct. Let's do that. So when you enter in the answer for this one closest to the nearest 10, you should say the answer is 12.1. And that marks the end of the quiz. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? At this time, I will also share with you guys. No. At this time, I will also share with you guys link to the self-paced nearpod for this quiz. If you feel like you missed some of the questions when I was going over them because I am a little bit faster than what you guys did, do it here in the self-paced. Send me an email, Miss Ayed. Can you check the self-paced nearpod? I just did the quiz so that when it's time for grading, yeah, I can just look at the self-paced and enter in a grade for you. Because you don't see the quiz, link to the self-paced is here in the chat. It's 1.02 quiz, which is due today, Amaya. Nobody has the quiz assigned yet. I'll stop the recording so it